How's it going? Hope we're all good. Sorry about that. Something happened and everything just glitched. A few things to take a quick peek at this morning. Obviously, we have Euro USD making a little bit of a move this morning. Fingers crossed. Obviously, we very much still have this little area down at the lows here that we still need to get through. We still need to crash through this 55 region. We just cannot seem to get there at the moment. When that goes though, that should, touch wood, lead to the dropout that we are anticipating and waiting for. It just seems to be taking a little while to get there. There's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we can do to speed that up. All we have to do is remain patient. Hope that our analysis is correct. As things stand, obviously, the 4 hourly picture is giving us an indication that we might have some form of a swing going on here. Looking at that rejection away from 121. I would have anticipated that we would then see a swing back down into somewhere around about, where's my thing gone? Down here. Somewhere into this region, down at 120.20, but that doesn't seem to have happened just yet. And obviously we're just chilling around these lows at the moment, so we need to get through this 55 region before we can then see anything else go on. Get rid of this because that's not actually relevant to us at the moment. That was just looking for that pullback into the 70 zone. That's obviously happened, and we're seeing a push away from that now. So looking at potentials this morning, obviously below 20.55 is a massive thing for us. That's a big deal. We would love to get below that region. We're likely to see quite a lot of choppiness surrounding the US dollar this morning, and throughout this afternoon as well, to be honest, as we approach the Fed decision and Fed statement later tonight. So I expect to see some volatility surrounding the pair throughout today, to be honest. It's going to go up, down, left, right, all over the place. So we just need to be extremely mindful of this and be cautious of the fact that we're likely to see some form of a reaction to the Fed statement tonight. From what I've read, I'm not expecting anything amazingly positive. The data from the US isn't too bad, but not expecting a massively positive Fed statement. I would expect them to go on the defence a little bit. So we're probably going to end up seeing 121 broken at some point this evening, but that's just thoughts and feelings. There's nothing factual to back that up until it happens. If that were to happen though, I would anticipate that we finish the week somewhere around 121.50. So we shall see. If it doesn't, then 120.20 will be hit this evening. And we're probably going to end up trading around about 120 for the rest of the week, somewhere between this little region. But again, all we can do is be reactive to what we see in the charts and go from there. It's all about getting through this 55 level at the moment, or just seeing how price reacts around this area. If we break back above 70, that's the time I think that we call it quits on potential shorts. That's where I would like to see the rejection from now. If we don't get it, then it's probably not worth holding on to. So we will just need to see it out, see what happens, and like I say, look for the potential to drop through that 20.55 region. The possibility is certainly there, but we shall see how we go. Pound Oz, obviously we spoke yesterday about the possibility of coming back to retest this 79.20 level. If we break back below the previous lows, then I will probably look to short it, just short term. Look for a quick 30-40 pips out of it for some form of a pullback. The reason behind this is mostly down to this 4 hour picture. We created this lower low with failure to break the higher low, even failure to break the lows. the highs. We broke back down, we saw a new low, but we failed to break those lows. We actually rejected away from 78.20 and pushed back up that 100 pips. That wasn't particularly unexpected when you consider the area that we broke out from and how quickly we broke down. So a retest of that zone and a retest of that area to establish it as resistance or potential carry on as support was always likely to happen. None of that comes as a particular surprise to us. The real surprise, wow, chucking things across the room. The real surprise and the real test now is going to come whether or not we can remain above or below 79.20. That's going to give us an indication of where price ends up heading to next. We can get rid of this little box, and in actual fact all we need to kind of pay attention to at the moment is the lows that we see through this previous consolidation zone and the lows here at 79, so the whole number, or above the previous highs that we have in play through at 79.60. But realistically, we can probably take an entry from around the rejection of 79.20 if that was to happen. Either way, we have possibilities. Getting a solid close back below 79 is vital. 79 back down to 78.20, not a problem at all. Longs back up, 180.80 would become our long target if we were to be presented with the opportunity to see pushes back to the upside. Looking at pound New Zealand. Oh, help if I could type this morning. Looking at pound New Zealand, we can see that we're just trading around this little liquidity zone where we've seen previous spikes before. I'm still not comfortable taking a position here until 91.80 is taken out. Now that seems like a long way away, and realistically it is, isn't it? Like we're trading at 92.60, so you're looking at the best part of 80 pips back down, but we cannot be too careful. Again, come out to the 4-hour time frame. You can see that we've had this lower low, lower high, lower low. This could be the realm of a lower high, but also I don't rule out the potential for a pushback into this area at 93.50 and these previous lows. That would be a decent place to see a swing if it was to happen. Break below this support region, you definitely do have the opportunity to take a potential trade. Don't get me wrong, there is definitely the option. Even below 92.30, I would have said would be a decent place to look to potentially short the pair. In actual fact, I am going to set an alert at said area just because I do quite like that opportunity. So yeah, there's definitely the option to short below that region. So anywhere around kind of 92.30, potentially even as low as 92.20 would be a decent place to look at a potential short option. If we reject from here, which we've seen a couple of times now, then breaks back above 93.20 are necessary for us to want to take any long positions. See through this level before, where we've had previous touches and that rejection back to the downside. If you were to break through that level, it's almost not guaranteed. Nothing in this game is guaranteed, but runs back up to 94 or 94.20 are highly likely, highly probable scenarios that we could look to take advantage of. If they were to present themselves. So we can just be mindful of those areas and of those potential levels. Pound USD. Obviously, we've seen the US dollar strengthen up a little bit. We can see that across the board. We've seen these little drops this morning, little drop this morning, little pushes this morning. So we've seen a little bit of momentum into the dollar. Again, like I say, we were very much expecting the fact that this might still stall this morning and see some sideways movement as we wait to come into this evening. When we are looking at this pair though, you can see quite clearly the area that we have through the lows of here. Pull that across, be a little bit more precise with it, take into account the previous spikes and the previous lows. So you know that below 38.60 you have a potential trade. That is only going to be 40 pips though, because we have to wait for 138.20 to be found. If we break back above 39.20, let's just drag said thing up. If we break back above this level at 39.20, then we would have potentially longs up to 140. So there are options surrounding all of these pound pairs this morning. They are presenting ourselves with decent opportunities. You can see the range bound activity that we've been in. The market is just waiting for the Fed statement this evening. When it happens, you're going to see some significant pop. We can do our best to be involved in a position, but we have to be very mindful that there is a strong possibility that we get stopped out this evening if we are involved in any trade surrounding the US dollar. As things stand though, shorts for the pound look highly probable. Maybe not so much here because we just look like we're in a range bound. Very, very range bound at the moment. Probably would wait until that 38.60 level goes. 38.60 down to 38.20. 38.20 down to 36.80. Those are the options there. Longs back above 39.20 would lead into 140. So they don't look quite as appealing as the pound Oz and pound New Zealand trades, but they do still very much have merit to them in that range bound activity. Pound CAD, obviously we broke from 73.30 on Monday. We've seen drives back down through 72. We're now just chilling around this little consolidation region at 72. Probably wait for the 80 levels to be taken out. So I would say at 72.80 you have the potential to take a position. But not really too much before when it comes to pound CAD. At 71.80, sorry, not 72.80. But at 71.80, there probably is the option to short if the pair drops down as low as that. When we come into potential target regions, obviously we need to look into this. You can see where that support's played through 71.80 before quite a few times. So we would probably anticipate some form of a push into the whole number or 69.80. So there's still a decent target on it and still very much potential to see that hit into this week. I don't believe there's too much in the way of pound fundamentals at any point this week. So as far as I'm concerned at the moment, I think we would be pretty safe to consider that if 71.80 goes, then it's only going to be CAD fundamentals that are going to ruin said position. So there's definitely that push back to the downside on pound pairs, or all pound pairs do present us with some opportunities. We just need to be a little bit mindful about where and what we are trading and the reasons behind them. CAD yen, obviously we spoke about the potential to trade from 87.20 and again taking the position yesterday. We could have taken above the consolidation highs. This has now got away from us if you are not already in it. You have the potential to enter again at 88. So once you break through the 4-hour highs at the moment, so once we get through 88, there's a potential to enter a position then on that way up to 89. But apart from that, it is gone. If anyone managed even to catch said position from 86.60 on Monday, And like I say, you are running well in profit on that now. And 120 pips up, and probably likely to see 188 taken out by the end of the week. But we are unlikely to see 89 found by the end of this week, I wouldn't have imagined. So we would just need to be a little bit mindful holding over the weekend, potentially close a position down and just chalk it off as a decent run. Or we hold it out and wait for the extra 100 pips into next week as a swing style trade. Euro Swiss, I do want to take just a very quick look at, purely because I know that we are broken above 10.50, but the euro seems to have, well, not so much the euro, but the dollar seems to have strengthened up this morning. I was wondering if that would play a factor in this. Nah, I don't like it. Don't really care for it. Let's just go back to CAD yen. Dollar CAD. Reset that chart. Dollar CAD, obviously, we're still very much in this range bound activity that we were in yesterday. And for those that were part of the education yesterday, obviously, we were talking about the potentials either side of this position now. So you have the lows here at 23.80, but we already know from yesterday that we actually have this area at 23.60 that we need to be mindful of. So we don't have a potential trade really until 23.60 goes from shorts. If 23.60 were to be taken out, then we could definitely anticipate a pullback. Oh, we're not going to be able to see it. Back into 120.50, I would imagine, as a longer term potential target. Would definitely envision that we have potential to come down as low as 120.50. We can definitely ignore these levels now. We are nowhere near them. I'm going to leave the one at 27 in, to be honest. But I'm going to pull it down because I'm more interested in 26.20. In fact, I'm actually more interested in 26. So we just pull that level into there. 25, when we come back to the 30 minutes, you can see the region of support through that zone, but I actually have that level just ingrained in my head. So I don't really need to worry, and that can go as well. So breaks above 24.20 should lead into positions for longs back up to 24.50, where we could potentially see a reversal, a rollover, and see price push back to the downside for an additional leg. If that doesn't happen and we break back above 24.50, somewhere above 24.60, we can definitely anticipate that 125 is next, and then 126 an extension to that. So we have potential positions. We just need to be patient and wait it out. Again, with most of these dollar pairs, we are waiting for the Fed announcement later tonight. So we just need to wait it out and sit on our hands, I'm afraid. We'll get rid of this chart because that's not relevant. But Aussie dollar, we'd seen the break back down below 77.50 that we were talking about yesterday. We're seeing quite a lot of strength. We're seeing quite a lot of knee-jerk reaction to the dollar this morning. Obviously, we saw a little bit of a strengthen up, and then that seems to have all disappeared. When you look as well over at Euro USD, we are seeing quite a lot of momentum come back into the pair. So I'm hoping that this is just a reaction. We've seen the European Open, a correction of that, maybe a retest of 50 before seeing a push back to the downside. If we reject away from 50, you have the opportunity. Probably would wait until 30 is taken out though. In in fact, yeah, I'd wait for 77.30 to go. That only does give us a run back to the 77 whole number though. So we do need to be very mindful of potential price stalling at around 77 and around that area. But there are opportunities. We're obviously seeing some reaction to the European Open. We'll see how London fares when that opens. But obviously we have potential positions, potential trades all over the place this morning. So we just need to wait things out a little bit, exercise a little bit of caution, a little bit of patience. It's been a decent week. Monday was decent. Again, like I say, I'd really like to see some rejection away from here. This 120.70 region and these previous lows. This is where I would want to see rejection. If we broke any higher than this now, or any higher than these regions through here, then I would close my position down and just call it a day on Euro USD. It's highly unlikely that we're going to get the movement that we want, so we'll just have to wait it out, see what happens and go from there. But there's a lot to be mindful of, a lot to keep an eye on throughout today, so please be sensible. Fed decision tonight going to be absolutely huge for the pair, so just be aware of that, and we will see where we go from there. I hope everyone has a decent day, and I'll catch up with people a little bit later.